So what if your keyboard could also be your trackpad? So not a separate surface, clipped onto the side, but the actual keys themselves working as a full gesture surface. Touch and typing happen on the same keys, and the keyboard figures out which one you're doing. That's what this keyboard does. And honestly, it sounds way too good to be true. So let's go over the 𝗪𝗪𝗔𝗪 CLVX1. I'm gonna go over all the key features of this, show you how the touch gesture system actually works in a demo, and talk about who this keyboard is for, all to help you make a better informed buying decision. So the CLVX1 is a full-size wireless keyboard designed for Mac. You can also get it in Windows though. It's got low profile, scissor switch keys, connects via USB Bluetooth or USB-C, and it's compatible with Mac, iPad, iPhone, Apple TV, and even Vision Pro. So this does have a full aluminum build, about 17 inches wide, but only ½ an inch thick. So it's a full-size layout with a numpad. It's really slim, as you can see. And it weighs around 2.5 pounds, so it's got a nice solid feel to it. All right, so let's just have a closer look here. First thing you notice is the build quality. Again, this is all aluminum on here, really nice looking. Look on the back, little stands, which are great on both sides. Of course, little pads on top to keep the keyboard in place. And just the look of the keyboard itself is just really sleek looking. And the whole thing is backlit with per key RGB lighting. And honestly, the lighting looks great on your desk. Just the white design and just the RGB lighting it up, it looks great. Okay, so let me get into what makes this keyboard different. So of course, the #1 feature of this is the touch on keys, the gesture control. The keys on this keyboard aren't just keys, they're also a touch surface. There's a designated area marked by a thin outline. You can see right here, thin outline right here, here, going all the way across. And if we look on the screen and I put my finger on the keyboard and I start moving it around, you can see the mouse is moving as well. I'm just lightly grazing my finger over the keys right now. Go all the way up to the top of the box. You can see the top of the screen. It's there, the cursor, and go all the way down to the bottom. Go all the way down a little bit here so you can see the cursor. Go all the way up to the top of the box on the keyboard. You can see it is very smooth. And with this, you can also do multi-finger gestures, like you can on a Mac trackpad. For example, if I put 3 fingers here and go into the mission control, I have 2 monitors here, so I see all the apps on my other screen, but you can see how it gets a little minimized. In the background here, we can see desktop 1. In the very top of the screen, you can't see it on my screen share, but it says desktop 1, showing that it's in that mission control. And we'll cover more of the app that this comes with, so you can understand how to set up these different gestures and what's more possible with this. But what this means in real world use is your hands never leave the keyboard. You don't need a separate mouse or a trackpad. Everything happens right where your fingers already are, which is really cool here. And the keyboard distinguishes typing from touch automatically, so it doesn't accidentally move your cursor while you're typing. So it's very easy to just go ahead and just use 2 fingers, can go up, and then we can also use the left and right buttons on the keyboard. Go ahead and get a closer look here so you can see. So there we go, we have the 2 buttons, left and right click as well. So go ahead and use those also. So we'll go to the text right here and we'll go ahead and do the left click. And we left click in. And then we can delete this, we can start typing. Okay, and then we can go ahead and still scroll. So it works perfectly. So one of the main questions that you have about this keyboard is how long does it take to get used to? So it definitely takes some time to getting used to, and there is a learning curve. It took me, a couple days to really get used to it. But this is with anything that you're changing in your workflow that you're already used to, it's gonna take some time getting used to. So you just have to stick with it and you can see just how powerful this is already. Just spending the time learning how to get the most out of it and just getting a feel and building the muscle memory with it. Again, this is anything that you're learning, anything that you're working into your workflow will take some time to getting used to. And then after a couple days, I didn't even think about it. I was already in the flow and was able to handle the keyboard really well and just have all the gestures down and just remember that this is a trackpad. And of course you can tap to click. So just go ahead and tap right there. Again, a normal trackpad. Okay, and then dragging and dropping. Of course you can drag and drop with this. So I'm gonna go to the top of the browser. My cursor went off the screen, but you'll be able to see when I drag it down, all you have to do is just double tap and then just drag on down. Make sure you don't lift your finger up because that will release the drag. And then whenever you want to, just release, and there you go. So we'll move this back up, double tap, and just move the trackpad. So it truly is a full trackpad on a keyboard. And the typing is incredibly smooth, like this low profile scissor keyboard. It does feel like a MacBook Pro keyboard, a MacBook Air keyboard. So it does mimic that Apple style keyboard, which is really nice. And it just has a really great feel to it. Another great feature about this is the multi-device connectivity. So this connects up to 4 devices, 3 Bluetooth plus a USB-C wired. So you can pair it to your Mac, your iPad, your Apple TV, and still have the wired connection and just press a button to switch between them. So one keyboard for your whole setup here. So what's nice about this is if you have both a work computer and a personal computer, you can toggle back and forth without unplugging anything or repairing anything. And it works with anything that takes Bluetooth inputs, laptops, tablets, phones, smart TVs, even VR headsets. And the Bluetooth range is really solid too. It works perfectly from across the room, even at about 15 feet, which is really great. And it's really easy to switch between the different modes. We look at the top right here, and this is the USB. We're on USB right now, as you can see, the USB-C plugged into the top. This is also our power switch right here. So we can switch between the different modes really easily. Get a little bit closer of a look. So then we have the first Bluetooth, second Bluetooth, and third Bluetooth option. Okay, the next great feature are the touch sliders. So the function row at the top here, it doubles as touch sliders. So you swipe left to right on one side to adjust the keyboard backlight brightness or other settings on your computer. And you can swipe the other as well to do the system volume. Out of the box, the keyboard backlight brightness, I've already changed this in the app, and we'll go over that in a second. And then this one does the volume. So I can already see on my computer, it's adjusting the volume. What's also cool is you can map them to zoom. So pinch-free zooming in maps and images, or timeline scrubbing for video and audio editing. That one's really nice if you're an editor. So again, what's also great about this is it's just so customizable. So you're not stuck with the default settings. You can adjust the gestures and everything. So let's get into the app right now. Okay, so this is the main app that we're going to be using. It's the Touch on Keys app. It's also important to note that when you do get this keyboard, you will need to install a driver. It's very simple to install, no hassle at all. The instructions are in the manual that you get with the keyboard. So let's just go over the Touch on Keys application here. So we're on the home page, and you'll notice we have application profiles, and currently we have the global one. So what's really cool is we can set up different profiles. So if we want different settings, maybe for different devices that we're using, or just someone else is using it, having different profiles is really nice. So next we have the quick device controls. We can look at the AI feature here. So what this is the training mode. That way you can get the best out of the CLVX-'1. So it understands your input habits, how you type. That way it can easily go between the mouse scrolling and the gestures and understand when you're typing. So you can go ahead and turn this on, just do continue learning. And at this point, you will need a mouse when this is on. And then based off the symbols you type, once it's done for the 10 bars, and then it'll automatically adjust the AI level. And again, this is to get the best out of your keyboard, so it gives the most seamless transition from using the touch keys to actually typing. So you can go ahead and pause that right now. You can also adjust that here. So you can adjust that manually. Look in the top corner here, we have an AI button. You can just press this, and we can adjust the keys right here for the different AI settings. And that corresponds to the AI level right here. So right now we're on 4, so it goes from 1 through 10, 1 through 9, 1 being the higher sensitivity, lower chance of false gestures. So again, you can manually adjust this, or you can turn on the learning and have it automatically do it for you. And you go through this process of 10 bars, 1,000 symbols for each bar to understand your typing habits. Okay, then on to the gestures here. So here's where we can adjust the 3-finger and 4-finger gestures. So we have all 4 directions, and we can just adjust them by clicking on the gesture, and we have this right sidebar that pops up, and we can choose any setting that we want, anything from doing a keyboard shortcut to changing volume, controlling the D-pad, managing apps, windows and desktops, navigation, clipboard. All of this is included in here. We have little animation so we can see exactly what happens when we select these. Then we also have the clipboard, which is nice, so we can set the gestures to copy, paste, cut, or switch languages. So a lot of different options, and we can adjust all of these options, same options for all 4 directions. And then the same thing for the 4 fingers. So we can add up to 8 different gestures here. So that's quite a lot of gestures and a lot of different key commands, keyboard shortcuts, system settings, all really easy to manage right here. So for example, let's say we wanted to minimize the front window on the dock. Let's go ahead and do that. Now I'll put my 4 fingers on, just go up, and it minimizes. Okay, next we have the touch sliders. So the touch sliders, right now I have the left touch slider. So we can see this one here, F2 to F6 on the keyboard. F2, F6. Sensitivity is set to medium. Depending on how sensitive you like it, you can just make the adjustments here. And it goes to the left and right arrows. So I'll click in this main area here, and then I'll go ahead and use this. And you can see it goes left to right. Uses the left right arrows. So I can go ahead and do that with the left right arrows as well. And then we go into the menu, and we can see all the options that we have. Volume control, screen brightness, backlight brightness, left right arrows, navigation, and custom shortcut. So we can add this really any shortcut that we want to. We can do command. So we can do any shortcut here. We can press key combinations to assign shortcuts like Control C or Option C, anything like that. So again, fully customizable. Okay, and then volume control. You won't be able to see this on screen, but the volume is popping up in the right-hand corner, the system volume. Okay, and then the backlight. So go into here, this is where we can adjust everything. We can adjust the different areas. So we can, for example, we can adjust the sliders here. So we click into this, and we can adjust the color right here. Very easy. Scroll down here, so we can have this be a reddish color if we wanted to. Red or more like an orangish color. And we can go back, and we can adjust this one as well. Very simple. Just click on it, and you can adjust the color. Again, also adjust the color of the main trackpad section. And we can adjust the color of the background as well as when typing. Okay, then the function keys. So here are the function keys. This is where we can adjust them as well. So if we look on the keys here, the function keys are pretty standard so far. So F1, F2, brightness, mission control, search. Then we have F5, dictation, F6, do not disturb, F7, the emoji, F8, rewind, F9, play, pause, F10, fast forward, next track, F11, mute, F12, we have the snipping tool, and then we have a left-right button here, so we can adjust whether we're doing a left-right-handed. So if you're left or right-handed, you want to adjust this here. Just hold it for 1 second, and you can change from left to right. And then going over to the right of the function keys, then right here, we have the capture entire screen button. We can check the battery level, the AI mode that I talked about that. You can activate that here and change the AI mode for how sensitive you want the gesture control to be. So one more thing about these gestures, you can create gesture profiles for different apps. So if you're in, VS Code, a 3-finger swipe switches, editor tabs. In Premiere, you can slide to scrub the timeline. In Chrome, swipe to go back and forth, back and forth. In Figma, pinch to zoom the canvas. Same gestures, different action, depending on which app is active. It's also important to note if you're using this app here, you will need to use the wired USB-C connection. You can't configure it over Bluetooth. Just keep that in mind for initial setup. After that, everything works wirelessly. Okay, and then the battery life of this thing. So the battery life is up to 40 hours without the backlight. So that's about a week and a half of normal use. And with the full RGB backlight on, you can get about 12 hours, which is still more than a full work day. So in real world use, the battery has been really solid. I can go a full day without thinking about it. Just charge it overnight and you're good to go. And a couple other things real quick. So when you are using the trackpad, you'll notice that the button goes to green on the spacebar right here. And then when you are typing, then it goes to blue. That's really nice, so you can tell, what's active. And it's always really cool to see, just the trail of light as you move your finger across. Go ahead and pull that in a little bit closer so you can see. Be a little bit hard to see, it follows. I'll go a little bit faster so you can see how it follows the finger as you move it around the trackpad area. Okay, so now let's do a sound test here of the actual keyboard. I'll put my mic close to it so you can hear it a lot better. Okay, and then full typing here. And then the buttons. So you can hear a nice, really smooth sound, very easy to type on, really easy to press the keys, and it's easy to type fast as well. And one thing I really like about this is just how kind of big the keys are. They just feel bigger than normal keys. They look bigger, so let's get another keyboard in here so you can see this is a mechanical keyboard. And the keys are just a little bit smaller here compared to the CLVX1. So I feel like I'm just a little more accurate on this as well. Okay, so let me talk about what I like about this. So the pros here. The touch gesture system, it really works. It's not just a gimmick. The keyboard does a solid job distinguishing typing from touch. And the build quality is really good on this. That aluminum chassis feels really premium. The multi-device switching is easy. 3 Bluetooth channels, and you just press a button. The battery life is great, and work just feels kind of lighter when your hands stay on the keyboard for everything. One thing that can be improved, I would say, is the key surface. The smooth coating that makes the touch functionality work also shows, finger oils pretty, easily. So you're going to want to clean it more often than a regular keyboard. Also, depending on if you like indentation, on keys, this keyboard doesn't have indentation on the keys. So if you're, a touch typist who finds, the home row by feel, there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve there, but it's really not that big of an issue. So my personal experience using this and using the trackpad and getting used to the trackpad overall has been good. I really think it just depends on exactly, what you're working on, where you're working, and exactly what medium you're working on. That'll decide whether this is worth it for you. So if you're using this keyboard for your smart TV, it's incredible. I don't want to bring in a mouse. That's really annoying to have to do. And just having, an all-in-one device here for something like that is really helpful. And just doing everyday work, browsing the web, typing on documents, and it's also really helpful. Having to move your hand, from the keyboard onto a mouse is always kind of cumbersome, and this is really accurate. It works really well. Again, it distinguishes between typing and using the trackpad really well. So I haven't found any issue with that. The only thing is, again, there's a little bit of a learning curve with it once you get, started with it. So, if you're using it for a day or so, just give it time and you'll be more used to it. So, if you're someone who works, at a desk all day and you're tired of, reaching back and forth between your keyboard and mouse, especially if you got limited desk space, this eliminates that problem entirely. Your hands stay in one place for everything and you get your mouse pad space back. And also, if you just have multiple Apple devices and you want one keyboard that handles all of them, you could toggle between your Mac, your iPad, and your Apple TV with just, a button press. It's just really convenient, especially if you're working from a couch or across the room. Also, if you're a creative professional using apps like Photoshop, Premiere, Figma, the custom gesture profiles, per app could really speed up your workflow. And that's something you won't find on a typical keyboard. I would say if you're on a tight budget, this is a premium keyboard and it's priced accordingly. If you just need, a basic keyboard for typing, there are plenty of solid options that cost less here. So in my opinion, the CLVX1 is one of the most interesting keyboards I've come across. The idea of turning your keys into a trackpad sounds like a gimmick, but it's actually really well executed. Again, it does take a little getting used to. The keyboard distinguishes typing from touch better than I expected, really, and the build quality is solid. And once you get used to it, it can genuinely change how you work at your desk. Work just feels lighter. It's definitely more of an investment piece, but if you're looking for one keyboard for your whole setup, where your hands stay in one place for everything, this is